Let's go. Look, my job is to help you get to the end as quickly as possible. What is the end? To me, the entire day, everything will focus on passive residual income higher than your expenses. How many people would like to have that? Well, then why don't you have that? See, guys, it's for me. I just really have been able to find the way to the end, the fastest way that I know how to do it. And so I'm going to do everything I can possibly do today to show you a map or a blueprint or a path to get you to the end. Because I believe that we have been lied to our whole life. How many people went to school in America? They taught me this: go to school, get good grades, so you can get into good college, so you can get a good job. Or maybe I even learned to start my own business. How many people here are business owners? Do you love it? I think it's better. I think it's better than having a job, of course. But for me, I went to school for 8 years to be a chiropractor, and I thought that was the life of my dreams. But when I wound up day in, day out doing what I did, I realized this is not the life of my dreams, because I believe that to be free, we have to have both time and money, and that business depended on me being there. And if you're a business owner and you have to show up and you have to work 40 or 50 or 60 or 70 hours a week, that is not winning, in my opinion. Who in this room actually has time and money? Who is totally financially free? Anyone? You're telling me out of all these people, I don't know how many are here, but there's not one person who is completely financially free yet. Okay. I was hoping there'd be at least one, because I was going to call you up here and we're going to interview you. All right. It's cool. I literally mean that. Because guys, if there was really, truly a way, 3.5 years from right now, that it's over, that it's done, that you're free, that the income comes in month after month after month, higher than the expenses, would you want to hear about it? Yeah. And so, for me, as I went through school, they taught me about the War of 1812. Did you guys learn about that war? And I took a woodworking class, and that didn't teach me anything on how to build a passive residual income higher than my expenses. Guys, you need to understand, how many people have ever seen me do a presentation? Okay. I changed the corporate presentation this last week. Instead of having it say, what's your plan B, to this better be the focus of your mind to be your plan A. Because I literally mean that. Because I believe that this is your life. I think there's very few ways to really, truly earn residual income higher than your bills for the average American. Maybe you can go become an insurance guy. Maybe you could sell financial services. Maybe you could buy a bunch of rental properties or storage units or something like that. But I think this is the most realistic way for the average person to get to the end as quickly as we possibly can. I think a lot of people are uneducated about network marketing. How many people, when they first got involved in World Ventures, had some sort of negativity, skepticism, somehow this is below me type of attitude? Okay. I would encourage all of you guys to really educate yourself on the industry of network marketing. Because here's what I know. All the big boys, and you're going to hear me rant and rave today about personal development, but all the books that I read by Robert Kiyosaki, David Bach, Dave Ramsey, Donald Trump, Warren Buffett, all these men endorse network marketing. T. Harv Eker, they all say it's a legitimate, viable, I believe it's the best way to get to the end. Because if you look at history over the last 125 years since Avon launched, how many people know that Avon was 125 years old? How many people knew it did $12 billion in sales last year? See, this is a real industry. When the economy is bad, people don't have time to go back to school to become chiropractors. They certainly don't have $1.2 million to buy a Taco Bell franchise. So look, if the end, I just believe this with all my heart, that most people waste their entire life working. I did it. I did it for a long time. I did it for 13 years. It was my badge of honor. I was so proud to tell everybody how hard I worked. I didn't take a vacation for the first 7 years I started practicing. I would hang my hat on the fact that I would work harder than everybody else. And then I woke up one day, I realized I just live to work. And that's not where it's at. My mind has gone to the complete opposite. I now work to live. I want to do as little as possible, make as much as possible, have as many peak experiences as I possibly can while I still have relative youth and health. So guys, look, I'm going to do the best I can here, to walk you through this. Again, study up, get your belief level where it needs to be on the industry of network marketing. Because I'm going to tell you, for almost all people here who are not there yet, if you're in World Ventures and you have been for a while, more so than a week, there's something that you don't believe in. You either don't believe in the industry, you don't believe in the company, you don't believe in the product, you don't believe in yourself, you don't believe in the tools. There's something that's missing in your mind, and we've got to identify it, and we've got to educate you and get those questions answered so you can tie your name and your reputation 100% to the opportunity. Because if you don't, if you're timid, if there's some sort of hesitation there, it's never going to happen. Okay? So we're gonna educate ourselves on the industry of network marketing. Again, guys, I see it all over the place. I study all the other companies besides World Ventures. People in network marketing routinely make $30,000 to $50,000 a month residually. My 10th month in World Ventures of doing it part-time, I was earning $50,000 a month. I don't know where else you can go to have that happen, okay? It's based off of effort, it's based off of commitment, it's based off of your network, it's based off your own personal growth, which we'll get to, but it can happen. Remember, I'm going to teach you this. I'm just going to do it right now. Look, most of us have no idea how to get out of debt. Is there anybody in this room at least out of debt? Anyone? KB, rock and roll. Get up here real quick. Just yell real loud. How did you do it? Do you have a microphone? If we can get a microphone up here real quick. Somebody just bring me a handheld. It's on here. To the right, up. Tell us how you did it. Stand up so they can see you.
It was just simple. I just never lived outside of my means. I didn't abuse credit cards at all. And I believed in, if I did use my credit card, it was always paid off within that 30-day grace period, so they never tacked on interest rates. So I was just real diligent on how I used my credit cards, and I just never outlived my means. I wasn't trying to hang out with the Joneses. I was hanging out with myself, so I knew my limitations. So I just never lived outside my means, and that's just period. Simple as that.
Yep, rock and roll, A+. Guys, I'm going to tell you how it happened to me. And I'm going to tell you my story real quick here, and then it'll go into the debt reduction stuff. So I'm in my last year of chiropractic school. I've been in school for 7.5 years to be a chiropractor. And one of my buddies comes to me with a network marketing company called Excel Telecommunications. How many people have heard of Excel? Here I am, 24 years old, 25 years old, $100,000 plus in debt, working as a bouncer at a nightclub downtown. I looked at it and I told the guy, looks great, but I don't have the money. Lie, but he said, all right, I'll just pay for you to get in. I'm like, all right. So I get in. I take it to my roommate, chiropractic student. He was selling hot tubs and spas at a place called All American Recreation. I'm making $10 an hour. He's making $12 an hour. I said, if we actually did this, we know a whole bunch of people in our school that would probably want to get out of debt. If we told them if we stuck together, we could pay off our student loans before we graduated. And so we started telling that story one person at a time. 24, 25-year-old kids at Northwestern College of Chiropractic, where I went to school. There's about 600 students. We got about 300 students involved in that opportunity. I played football in college. I went back to that college. I said, I used to be the quarterback here 3 years ago. Who's the quarterback now? They said, this guy. I said, take me to that guy. And I said, look, dude, here's what we're doing. To get the team together, we'll do a little presentation. We'll see who wants to get started. Put the team together, did the presentation, 3 or 4 get signed up. I said, dude, you know the quarterback down the street at St. Thomas? Yes, I do. Let's go see him. Same scenario. Put the football team together. Got a few people involved. And we just kept going right down the line to all the different colleges, going to the quarterbacks. They're the leaders. Put the team together. Long story short, I put thousands of people in my first year. And so, not even the first year, probably the first 6 months. And so what I actually did is I made the decision to quit chiropractic school 7.5 years in. So can you imagine the phone call that I made to my parents when I told them that I just quit school after being in school for 7.5 years? And I thought my mom was going to drop dead. But what happened was this. Because I put some numbers in relatively quickly, there was an event going on like this in Minneapolis for that company. And I got invited to come to the hotel and meet the number one income earner in that company. His name was Paul Orbison. And Paul was making $1 million a month residually. So here I am, 25, hanging out face to face, eyeball to eyeball with a guy who makes $1 million a month residually. My life changed that day. I asked Paul this question. I said, dude, will you tell me how you did it? What do I have to do to make $1 million a month residually? And I remember he just looked at me and he goes, do you mean it? I go, I do. He was the guy. He was the guy that got me to realize that I've got to work on me. So I'm 25, and he said, these are the books that I've read. These are the recordings that I've listened to. And so the first book that he encouraged me to read was a book called Think and Grow Rich. Who's read it? Guys, watch. You need to understand that there's been millions and millions and hundreds of millions of people that have lived before us. And a lot of them have left a blueprint how to get to the end quickest. So here's how Think and Grow Rich goes. Andrew Carnegie, the wealthiest man in the world. The Bill Gates of our time, or the Warren Buffett. This guy's got access to the 500 wealthiest people on planet Earth. And he says, Napoleon Hill, I want you to go interview, study, spend time with these 500 people over the next 20 years and find out the secret sauce that they all have. And so Napoleon does. He spends time, he interviews, he hangs out with these people. And is that for me? Let me take that. Let me see if I can get that. I think I signed him up into World Ventures, Jason. So after 20 years, Napoleon comes back and he writes the book, Think and Grow Rich. And he outlines 13 characteristics that these 500 men had. Don't you think they should make us read that book instead of studying about the War of 1812? So that's the first book I ever read on personal development. He said, I would listen to this recording. It's by Earl Nightingale. It's called The Strangest Secret. Who's listened to it? Not too many. You better write that one down. Don't worry, all this stuff will be on my website. I'll give it to you later. You don't have to worry about the names of the recordings. I'll give you all these tapes and all these books. Guys, I listened to The Strangest Secret. I remember vividly how it happened. I was driving from Madison back to Minneapolis. I was at a chiropractic seminar over by Madison. I'm driving back. It's like 4 hours long. And I listened to that tape. That's how old I am. It was a tape. Several times. And I'm driving on 94, and I swear on my life, I didn't have a tape recorder at home. The only way I could listen to it was in my car. And I felt like I wanted to just keep on driving to Montana so I can listen to it over and over and over again. Because I was realizing that there are people that have gone before us that have left the way. And that started for me in 1995. So here we are, 16 years later. I can honestly tell you, I've read over 400 books on how to get rich. I literally have every single program that Tony Robbins has ever put together. I've gone to countless seminars. Sometimes, like Jennifer said, some of them are $1,000, a couple $1,000 for the weekend. Guys, at the end of the day, we're going to teach you today some invites. But really, we need to work on the inviter. We're going to teach you some closes, but really we need to work on the closer. You have to go home today, and you have to look in the mirror, and you have to go, I've got to increase my network. I've got to increase my language. I've got to increase my confidence. I've got to increase my posture. This person's probably here, don't take offense, but last night somebody on the stage said, I was in another company, and it didn't really work out, but I just got into this one, and I think I got the right company. No. You, in that company that you were just in, some people made $50,000 a month. Some people made $100,000 a month. The grass is not greener anywhere else. See, it doesn't really matter what the opportunity is. You have to become right. And you need to understand this, personalize this, own this thought that if Warren Buffett or Donald Trump or Robert Kiyosaki or Tony Robbins came walking into this room right now and he takes Roscoe's cell phone out of his hand And he starts going down his contacts alphabetically, and he goes, Alfred Anderson. Hey, Alfred, it's Tony Robbins. Hey, listen, I just started a brand new business. I want to go into business with you. It'll cost you $366. Are you ready to get started? How many would he get? Every single one of them. Why? Because he's an influencer. Because he's worked on himself. Because you can just tell by the way that he carries himself, the language that he uses, that that's a person who's personally developed. That's a person that can lead. That's a person who's good at business. That's a person who's good with money. Guys, I'm not very good at very many things, and those people who really know me will attest to that fact, I promise you. But the thing that I am good at is the one thing that makes me a buttload of money. And I am not here, and I am not better than anybody. I'm just a person that gets up and puts my pants on. But another book that I read at 25, like he said, that was exactly right. I'm 25. I read a book called The Millionaire Next Door. Who's read that book? See, I learned to live within my means, even though I was making pretty good money. I mean, I could have gone out there and bought all the fancy things that young men like to do, but I chose not to do that. You know, I chose to get good financial advice. You know, I work hard because honestly, I am so stinking lazy. And I wanted to find a way to basically retire without ever even having to start to work. That's really what I've been trying to do for the last 16 years of my life. And so here I am 41 years old. I've been living well within my means. I'm a very open, transparent person. Last year I earned $740,000 from World Ventures. The interest that I earn on the money that I've accumulated in my lifetime is over $40,000 a month. So between World Ventures and my money that I've saved, it's over $100,000 a month. I come from nothing. My dad was a preacher. I used to sleep in the same bedroom as my two brothers and my sister going through high school. My dad, as a preacher, literally, they gave him a house to live in. He earned $5,000 a year. We took one vacation the whole time I went through high school. We went to Wisconsin Dells. How many people have been on my photo gallery and on my website and seen, guys, I'll show it to you later. I've taken 43 vacations in the last 47 months, and the vast majority of them, I brought my mom and my dad, my two brothers, and my sister, because we are making up for lost time. Because somebody taught me, somebody paved the way, somebody showed me, somebody mentored me, somebody cared enough about me to tell me the truth. Quit working on things that cannot get you to where you really want to be. See, there are people here who are unemployed. There are people here on the other end of the spectrum, corporate guys, 50 years old, make $250,000 a year, and you think you're pretty cool, but the reality is this. Somebody can pull the rug out from underneath you at moment's notice. And most people, they spend everything that they earn. This is what happens. You start making $250,000 a year. You don't drive a Toyota anymore. Now you drive a BMW. You don't live in a $250,000 house. Now you live in $1 million house. And you spend all the money. And guys, when we talk about debt reduction, here's the deal. The average American who earns $37,000 a year, which is $18 an hour, will spend $600,000 in interest over the course of their lifetime. And what we have to do is we have to invert that ratio. We've got to get you out of debt as quickly as possible so we can start to get you to live on the interest of the money that you've saved. And I said it to you earlier. You can get there without earning any more money. I can get you out of debt in 5 to 7 years, whether you earn any money from World Ventures. But if I can get you to earn $300 a month from World Ventures, we can get you out of debt in 3.5 years, including your mortgage, all debts, everyone in this room. And we're going to teach you how to build a residual income in the next 3.5 years working this business, 10 to 15 hours a week, so that your income 3.5 years from now is higher than your expenses. What are expenses? Property taxes, health insurance, car insurance, gas, food, clothing, entertainment, cell phone, cable. They're going to keep coming every month, forever, right? Let's say for the average person, that number's $3,500 a month, okay? Do what he did. Live within your means. 3.5 years from now, if your expenses are $3,500, we're going to teach you how to make $3,501. We're going to get you off the hamster wheel. Guys, I saw over 100,000 patients in my 13 years of practicing chiropractic, and I promise you the number one killer in our country is stress. And we do it to ourselves because we are addicted to the approval of other people. That's why we buy the house that we can't afford, so we get a mortgage. We drive the car that we can't afford, so we make payments. We buy Versace, Gucci, right? We go to the mall and we don't have any money, so we slap it down on the credit card. And guys, see, they get us on this I can afford the payment trap. And so they want you to pay that, Versace jacket. I know it's Versace. Work with me. Okay. They want you to pay that thing off over the next 15 years. So you pay twice as much for it. Guys, you've got to eliminate all that stuff. I mean, for me, I would much rather sprint for the next 1,000 days of my life and do whatever I have to do so there comes a day where I don't have to worry about money ever again. But that's just me. I think that you that don't think that way, you who work 40, 50, 60 hours a week, who are going to have to do it for the next 40 or 50 years, I think you are wasting your life. I don't have kids, but if I did have kids, I would do it for my kids. I would sacrifice a season of my life so I can spend more time with my kids down the road, so I can fund their college education, etc. Okay? So how do we do it? How do you pay off all your debts in the next 5 to 7 years? Guys, there's so many debt reduction programs out there. I can recommend a few to you. Okay? The number one selling program of all time for Nightingale Conant, which is based right out of Chicago, right here. Okay? They're the number one seller of personal development in the world. Is Transforming Debt into Wealth by John Commuta. I like John. John is in World Ventures. He's a good man. If not John, how about Dave Ramsey? If not Dave Ramsey, how about David Bach? See, guys, it really doesn't matter whose system that you use. It's all going to be based off an accelerator margin that you're going to have to accelerate the payments of your debt. It's just always based off the number 10. You will take 10% of your net income and you apply it towards your debts. Do you realize that if you earn $37,000 a year, which is average, you don't live in Jeff Blanzy's house? Right? You can only qualify for so much of a mortgage. You can only get so much credit. So everything is based off of a number or a ratio. And for the average American, taking 10% of their net income and accelerating those payments, you'll be out of debt in the next 5 to 7 years. And if we can get you to earn an extra $300, how do you earn $300 a month in World Ventures? Become a senior rep. You're going to earn right around $300 a month. And if you take that and you tack it on to the 10% and you attack those debts, you're going to be out of debt in 3.5 years. Who knew that was true? How many people knew? See, that my Minnesota team knows that right there. Blanzy knows it. I love it, okay? Got some folks down here. See, most people don't know the math because, again, we took woodworking. We took home ec. We studied about the Civil War, all important things. But see, they don't teach us anything about the real world. They don't teach us how to get to the end. And why don't they teach us how to do it? Because they don't know. They don't know. So now you know. The responsibility is yours. You have to leave here. You have to go find the program or the author that you like. Okay? Those are my top 3. I'm just telling you, there's countless ones out there. For most of them, it's one sheet. Here's what you do. You write down how much you have left on your mortgage, how much you have left on your cars, how much you have left on your student loans, how much are on your credit cards, miscellaneous debts that you've accrued. You just itemize it, and then there's going to be a system for you to attack the least dollar amount one. It has nothing to do with interest rates. Which one can you pay off the fastest? Okay? So guys, you need to trust me when I say it's 5 to 7 years if you don't earn any more money. You might say, well, Dr. Pietsch, we live paycheck to paycheck. We don't have an extra 10%. Is anybody honestly thinking that right now as I say that? Okay? Then you don't get to eat. You can't afford to eat. 61% of Americans are obese or overweight. 61%. You have to miss some meals. You don't earn enough money to eat breakfast every other day. You think I'm kidding? I'm not kidding. Okay? You spend $5 on a cup of coffee. You do all this stuff. Look, you have to cut back. You have to cut back. Because it won't matter if we teach you how to make more money anyway until you get control. See, I can teach you the math on how to do it. It doesn't matter until we get the philosophy that you have to live within your means. You could not have said it. I didn't coach you to say what you said, did I? You had no idea I was going to do that, right? He could not have said a better thing than he said. I live within my means. How many people know that like Warren Buffett lives in the same house that he's lived in forever, like with his mom or some crazy thing? Okay, that's like one of the richest guys in the world, could live anywhere, have 40 million houses. The dude lives in Omaha. I've never been there. I'm sure it's nice. I'm sure it's like Iowa, whatever. I love Iowa. Guys, you've got to get that crap out of your head. You've got to stop being addicted to other people's approval of you. When I heard this, changed my life. When I realized that when I die, 10 people will actually cry at my funeral. So I spend my whole life worrying about what other people think about me. See, here's what I know. They're talking about me no matter what I do. They're already talking about me. But when I learned this, it even pushed me over, it pushed it over the edge, that when it comes time to bury me in the ground, the number of people that will come from the funeral to the burial is dependent upon the weather. If it is raining, 50% of the people who cried at my funeral won't even come to watch me get put in the ground. Guys, I live in a God-forsaken part of the world that might be the worst place to live in the world. It's the high in Minnesota in the winter is 0. It gets dark at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and it's cloudy every day for 9 months. I don't think anybody will come see me get put in the ground, so why do I care? Honestly, why do we do this to ourselves? See, look, just get to the end. Do whatever. Look, it's 1,000 days. It's 3.5 years. It'll work every time if you commit to doing it. You all said you want to be financially free, but you don't have it, and you won't have it until I'll tell you why people don't have what they have. They don't know what it is that they want. They don't know what it is that they're trying to do. Now at least you know the number's 3.5, okay? Because I believe with all my heart that everybody can get senior rep in this company. Everybody can get 30-30, okay? Do you think that that's realistic? If you applied yourself, you committed over the next 3.5 years, we can get that income up to, senior rep, 30 on the right, 30 on the left. I promise you that that's the case. Okay, so that's what we're trying to do. That's why we're here. We're trying to get you free. We're trying to get you to look at yourself. What do you stand for? What are you making an attempt to do? So we're going to go out there, and we've decided to do network marketing. So we believe in the industry. Look, I would just say this about World Ventures. We're almost 6 years old now. This is a real company with real products, and there's real value to our products. You can't walk out the door and find $69 cruises anywhere else that I'm aware of. We can't find 5-star all-inclusives for a week for $416 anywhere else that I'm aware of. The product is real. The company is real. The vision is long-term. The company is financially stable. I promise you, you didn't want to get in this company when it first started because the chances that it was going to survive were not good. I gave up everything that I've worked 13 years towards in my practice. I mean, I was the same person in my practice that I am in World Ventures. I was aggressive. I wanted to be the best. I was hard charging. I worked all the time. 21 years of my life into my practice, and I walked away from it a year ago because I believe in the people who run our company can take us to where we want to go. And if you don't believe that, then you need to come to our national training events. You need to be around these people. You need to meet these people because that's really, you're going to lack belief in something. Either lack belief in the industry of network marketing or the company, or most likely it's going to be yourself. We're going to work on you all day long today. So we've chosen network marketing. We've chosen World Ventures. So we're going to go out there and we're going to build a network until our team gets big enough so the income that comes off of that is higher than our expenses. And so what happens is this. People go out there, they're excited about World Ventures, they see the presentation, and they go out there and they try to sell the features of the Dream Trips Life membership. Sounds right? Okay, we got this great product, let's go tell the world about the product. It's not how I do it. For 3.5 years, I sat there And I psychoanalyzed myself. I mean, literally, I put myself into deep therapy going, why is this so easy for me and so hard for everybody else? What is going on here? What's the dealio here? And I finally figured it out. Mike Azquay, the co-founder of World Ventures, sent me an email one day saying, Pietsch, you need to read this book ASAP. And it was a book by Simon Sinek called Start With Why. And I finally understood, and I feel like I'm just deadly lethal right now in doing this business, because not only do I know, I know why what I do works. Okay, before it was just working, I was just doing it, but now I can transfer it to you. Most people go out there and they would go, call their buddy Roscoe, they want to sit down, they want to show him the presentation, and so they go something like this, Roscoe, we've got this Dream Trips Life. It is unbelievable. We've got dream vacations at dream prices, 630 different vacations last year. It works like Sam's Club. We buy in bulk. We walk onto a cruise ship and we buy 500 cabins because we buy so many we can drive the price down, or we walk onto a 5-star resort in Cabo and we buy 1,000 rooms, and so we can drive the price way down. You can bring your family with. There's lots of social benefits to it. We can book travel on this website. We got global hideaways, no timeshare presentation, no money up front, no maintenance fees. We got discounts on dining and entertainment, up to 50% off our favorite places. We got a mall. There's 1,200 stores in the mall. We got a concierge service. It's unbelievable. You want to buy a membership? Nah. Right? Right? Because the people that buy with that presentation are the people that have aligned themselves with the features of the product. And they see how it can benefit them. They can see how having a concierge service would benefit them. They can see how, traveling in a group and buying in bulk is going to get a better price. So they go, that makes sense to me. I think I'll buy it. Here's how I did it. I hit international marketing director in 10 months and 5 days. Part-time, nobody placed underneath me, started 2 years after the company launched. Here's how that happened. I finally figured out what made that scenario go. I would do the presentation in my chiropractic office every night. So I'll just tell you how that whole scenario got started. When I got signed up, the person who got me, Dave Watson, had called me over 21 months. And he'd called me countless times in that time frame. Just telling me about World Ventures, very excited. Dave was in Excel with me before, so we made a ton of money in Excel and had a lot of the same experiences. And, he just was calling me, and he's trying to do the 4-step invite. I mean, he is the 4-step in guy, right? And so he'd go, hey, Dave, it's Dave Watson. Hey, listen, don't have a lot of time right now. What do you got going on tonight at 7 o'clock? And I used to always say this to him. Every time I go, I'll be busy, I'll be washing my hair. Every time. If you ask Watson, he will tell you he could not clear the date with me one time in 21 months. I'm not kidding, not once. So this is what Dave did, and you should learn from this. Dave qualified for the car bonus, and he didn't take a car. He chose an airplane. And so he flew that airplane up to Minneapolis. He shows up at my chiropractic office at 9 o'clock in the morning, and I'm slamming, jamming, busy. I can't even talk to the man until noon, so he just sat there. So I walk out in the waiting room, and I go, you here for that little travel deal? He goes, I said, come on. So you got to realize that in Minnesota, our laws are different than Illinois. See, there's a state law in Minnesota that says this. If a guy flies a private airplane to see you, and then he asks you for $366, you have to give him the money. I'm not kidding. Dave Watson had 5 minutes with me. He brought his daughter Sarah with. They're going through and they're showing me this stuff. I'm just like, whatever. This is exactly what I said. On your way out, you can talk to Dina. She's the #1 front desk girl. Just get a credit card from her. Put me in. This is exactly what I said. Magically, after that encounter, his daughter Sarah became my patient. What happened? Every time Sarah come in to get adjusted, Dr. Pietsch, World Ventures, World Ventures, World Ventures, World Ventures, World Ventures, World Ventures. This goes on for 2 months. He's driving me bonkers. It's September. I like to go boating. I mean, we got like 6 weeks of summer in Minnesota. I like to go boating. And she comes in on a Thursday and she goes, Dr. Pietsch, there's a national event for World Ventures tomorrow night. Some of the top income earners are going to be there. Would you please come down? Somehow the word yes came out of my mouth. I am not lying when I say this. When I got home that night, I was so fuming mad that I said yes, that I laid there in bed and couldn't sleep all night thinking of the lie that I was going to tell Sarah why I couldn't come on Friday. I promise you, that's true. So Friday comes around, and I committed to some other of my buddies who were coming in from out of town that we were going to go on my boat on the river. And I'm telling them, like, I can't do it. I got to go to this stupid meeting. And so I'm just chapped. So I'm rolling down 94. I get to the convention center. I come in late. I get right there when the thing's starting. I sat right in that seat, right where Larry's sitting right there. I had flip-flops on, a pair of shorts, a T-shirt that said, "Trust me, I'm a doctor." And I'll promise you, I will promise you that I thought I was the coolest guy in the room. And I'm going to shoot holes in this little hokey network marketing deal because I'm the big hotshot chiropractor, and this is this little below me little network marketing deal. So I'm sitting there and I'm watching this thing for real this time. Like, I'm seeing it for real. And I sat there, and this is what I honestly said to myself. That's a yes. What they're saying is a yes. See, I've been doing chiropractic for 13 years. Chiropractic is a no. And so I'm sort of going, that is the opposite of what I do all day long. So I thought, okay. I started to open my mind, and then this is when I got pushed over the end. How many people here were last night? Okay. At the end, we called up people to give their testimonials. What happened to me when I saw all those stupid people walking across the stage, making more money than I am as the hotshot chiropractor, I said, you have got to be kidding me. There is no way. And I remember like pointing at people, I'm going, that guy right there? That guy? There's no way. So guys, here's how it goes down. I slept on it. I woke up. Dave Watson gave me the ultimatum. He said, I need an answer by 8 o'clock tomorrow. In or out, yes or no. I'm never going to call you again. This is it. Called him up. Said, yes. And I had thought about it. This wasn't based off of emotion. I thought, I want the lifestyle that this man has and all those stupid people have. I want it. And so I made a commitment. I committed to doing the deal. So I signed up 7 people on that. I came to an event, a training like this. I was in the back of the room, signing people up, calling my friends down. You got to see this. I put 7 people in the first day, 6 on the Sunday. It was a 2-day event. 7 on Saturday, 6 on Sunday. Put 13 people in the first day, or the first 2 days. On Monday, we decided to get all those people together and told them to invite some of their friends. So in my chiropractic office on Monday, we had about 30 people show up. And Dave Watson has a partner. His name is Dave Nessberg. Dave Nessberg came to my office, and he did the presentation. And we shot it on the bathroom door in my chiropractic office. Okay, because my office was kind of not built for big group presentations at the time. And so that's the only space we had in my waiting room. And this is what happens. During the presentation that Dave is doing, 3 times somebody got up and walked into the bathroom. And I'm just like, if you know me, I'm just livid, just beyond mad. And so I'm like, oh, good grief, this is not going to happen. So the next day we do the same thing. It's on the bathroom door. And on Tuesday night, I remember Dave was in Rochester. I was in Minneapolis. We just got done doing the meeting on Tuesday night. I called Dave and I said, I'm thinking about tearing the walls out of my chiropractic office. And he goes, well, what does that mean for you in your chiropractic office? And I go, well, it pretty much means suicide. Because when I did that, I tore the walls out so I couldn't do some of the therapies that I was doing, which pretty much generated at least half of my income. And he goes, well, maybe you better think about that. And this is exactly what I said. I just did. It's done. So I picked up the phone, called the guy that I knew that was a builder. On Friday, they came in and they demolished all the walls in my office. We opened the whole thing up. And we set up 77 chairs. And I wrote on my whiteboard in my office that I will be here Sunday through Thursday doing that presentation. And so we started telling the story. And I said all that to get to this point right here. What I would say is this. People would come, they start coming out. We did it one at a time. Everybody just bring one. Everybody bring one tomorrow. Everybody bring one the next day. I would stand up there and go, hi, everybody. My name is David Pietsch. This is my chiropractic office. I've been practicing right here in this building for the last 5 years. As you can see, right behind the front desk, there's pictures of my staff. I have 7 employees I'm responsible for here in my office. On my best month, my overhead is $40,000 a month here for my practice. I'm stressed out. I'm doing more paperwork than I ever have done before. I'm getting reimbursed less and less and less. The first 7 years I practiced chiropractic, I didn't take a vacation. So when I saw this presentation, it really made sense to me. But what I really fell in love with was the unique business concept that I realized that if I followed part-time at night for the next year, I could actually double my income as a chiropractor. And what I was doing is I was leading with my why. And I kept telling it over and over again throughout the presentation, guys, I'm stressed out. Guys, I don't want to have any more employees. Guys, I have to be here all the time. I just want to have residual income that comes in passively higher than my expenses. I know what the number is in my personal life. I just want to get my income from this higher than that. And so I was leading with my why. I was a person that was going for it. And what started to happen is the people who would come to the presentations, they would sit there and they'd go, well, I would do it because I want to get my wife home and raise our kids. I would do it because I need money for my kids' college tuition. I would do it because I, too, want to get out of my job. I want to do it because I, too, I'm sick of my business. I have too much responsibility. And they started to do it for their reasons. If I can give you any advice that will change your enrollment ratios, it'll be this. Tell people why you do what you do, because they don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. The invite that I do is all based off of that, because guys, I believe it's all the way through from the start, from the minute you pick up the phone and make a call to the end. If I'm going to call Roscoe, who's my buddy, who I grew up with, it would go like this. Hey, Roscoe, I just found a unique business concept that can double my income as a chiropractor in less than a year. You got to get over here and see it. Is that not a powerful phrase? See, that's a whole lot better, in my opinion, than the 4-step invite. Not that the 4-step invite is wrong, but it's a higher level invite. See, you could lead with why you're doing what you're doing. Hey, Roscoe, I just found a unique business concept that can allow my wife to stay at home and raise our kids. You got to come see it. Hey, Roscoe, I just found a unique business concept that can fund my kids' college education. Hey, Roscoe, I just found a unique business concept that can retire me in the next year. Whatever your why is, I do it on the invite because now they know they're coming out to see something. Guys, I've done the presentation that I did last night. I don't know how many times, but it's just about darn near every single day for the last 4 years. And I can't tell you how many times people come out and they come out and they have no idea what they're coming out for, and they're fuming mad. Anybody ever have that happen to them? See, you don't have to have that happen. And we're not telling you to prejudge people. I'm telling you to pre-qualify people. See, I just told my buddy, who I'm friends with, that I've got something big cooking, that I've got something that's worth looking at. I told him why I was doing what I was doing. And that's going to resonate with anybody. You could just go, hey, Roscoe, I just found a unique business concept that can get us completely out of debt in the next 3.5 years. You got to come see it. Does that make sense? Guys, I would encourage you to get that book called Start With Why by Simon Sinek. And you've really got to start to formulate and create your why. And your job now is to tell it to anybody who's willing to listen to your story. You have a story to tell. It has nothing to do with World Ventures. It has everything to do with a unique business concept where you can go out and build a network of people who buy a product from you and you override their commissions month after month after month after month after month. Does that just make sense? Guys, it's very simple. Okay? You figure out why you want to do this business, you own it, and you tell it to the world. Then you have to do income-producing activities over and 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 over again. Unspectacularly, day after day after day after day, with 100% commitment, with 100% of your name tied to it for as long as it takes. That's all it really is. You just keep showing people over and over and over and over again. What I'm going to teach you to do is you're going to start to climb the personal development ladder. On our teams, you guys know that I put the 10 core commitments together. One of those commitments, which I'll cover this afternoon, is you're going to read 10 pages a day of a good book. You're going to commit to 15 minutes a day of audio in your car of personal development. I mean, I like Lady Gaga too, Jennifer, but we've listened to her enough times in our car. Okay? It's hot. It's cool. It's cool. Did you know that the average American reads one book after they graduate high school? One book. Isn't that ridiculous? Oh, you're on my team too, aren't you? That's going to end. Okay. Guys, because it's this. See, look, it's going to be a philosophy, okay? One of my heroes is Jeff Olson. Jeff Olson is the author of The Slight Edge. Jeff Olson in network marketing has been the top of 4 consecutive network marketing companies, earned over $50 million in the industry. And it's the philosophy that I preach from the top down: simple daily disciplines versus simple daily errors in judgment. It applies to every decision that you make in your life. Every decision is a big decision. We can talk about diet. I did it a little bit last night. I'm going to do it again. Today, for lunch, I will choose chicken breast, broccoli, and water. And my good friend, Roscoe Taylor, he's going to drive down the street, go to McDonald's, get a Big Mac, a large fry, and a Diet Coke. Okay? For dinner, I will have salmon, green beans, and water. My good friend Roscoe is going to go to Burger King. BK broiler, large fry, Diet Coke. And that same scenario goes on for a week. At the end of the first week, did Roscoe go right to the bottom and I go right to the top? Hardly any difference at the end of 1 week. But if that same scenario happened every day, day in, day out, for a year, at the end of the year, would there be a big difference in my appearance and Roscoe's appearance, in my health and his health? And that's the Slight Edge philosophy. Guys, it applies to everything that we do. When I take you through the 10 core commitments today, all the things that I ask you to do are easy to do. When I say easy, it means that you can make the choice to do them. But they're also easy not to do. So it's a commitment to get the thing done, okay? I used to say this all the time. I'm going to do it again. You know, I hit International Marketing Director in 10 months and 5 days. And I say that I made a commitment to do it. So here was my routine. Here was my life for that window of time, those 300 days. Get up, 5 o'clock, go to the gym, work out. Be at work by 8, start seeing patients. See patients till noon, 12:15. Be back at 2, work from 2 to 6, 6:15. Drive home as fast as I possibly can, shower, scarf down a protein shake, get back up there, and the monkey performs at 7. Night after night after night after night, that's what I did. I disciplined myself for 10 months and 5 days, okay? Pretty much, you know, I did all the things I needed to do. I went to church on Sunday mornings. If my mom called me, I'd call her back when it was convenient for me. But I cut all the fat out of my life, okay? I mean, I literally went after this thing with every ounce of energy that I had. I mean, it was a total commitment to get the thing done. I mean, I became obsessed with becoming international marketing director. I just wanted the lifestyle more than I wanted anything else. For most people, on the priority scale, God's got to come first, family's got to come second, and this needs to come next. But for most people in this room, it's so far down that list that it's not enough effort to win. Okay? It's got to go high on the list as long as it takes until the job gets done. See, all of us come to the starting line with different life experiences, with different backgrounds. It doesn't matter where you start. What does matter is that you finish. Because if I can do it, if I can, you know, I remember being in junior high going, God dang it, I am not going to be poor. I mean, my butt has been burning since I was in 8th grade, literally. I'm just going, I'm not living this way. It's not going to happen to me. I'm going to find a way to not, do this. I remember when I was in college, I was playing football. I got a college scholarship to play football, and I went and I started off wanting to be a teacher, be a phy ed teacher, a coach, something like that. And then I broke my collarbone my sophomore year, and I really couldn't. I was quarterback, really couldn't play anymore. And so I went to my advisor, and I told my advisor that I want to become a medical doctor. And he just laughed. He just told me, there's no way, you're not smart enough, you're not good enough. Let me tell you something. That made me so mad. I literally thought about that guy every day of my life for about 10 years. I mean, literally, like that guy, just got under my skin. And so when I got in network marketing, I started making a bunch of money, and then I decided, I was doing a seminar like this for that other company, and I was in Arizona, and somebody raised their hand in the crowd one time and said, Pietsch, the only reason you do network marketing is because you couldn't make it in chiropractic. Hey, you pissed me off again. So I said, okay. So I went and started practicing chiropractic. In my practice, we had a monster practice for a very long time. And guys, every year of my life, even to this day, I'm 41, I am tempted to send that, guidance counselor in my college a copy of my tax returns. But I think if I do, God will strike me down. But see, it doesn't matter where you come from. It's just, do you have the desire to change? Are you willing to pay the price? Are you willing to commit? So if you're willing to go out there and show this to your network with passion, with all that you got for as long as it takes, because guys, this has got to be what it is that you want. You can't want this in 6 other incompatible things at the same time. Does that make sense? You don't need anything other than this. I mean, if you start to get the income that comes in like I've got now, you can start to invest your money in other things so you can, diversify the residual income. But, figure out very clearly in your mind what it is that you want and go get it. So, guys, look, your philosophy. See, people when they watch me train, they always go, man, I wish you'd just get to the how-tos. Just tell me how to do it and I'll do it. That is not true. You won't do it, okay? Because your philosophy is not right, because along the way, you're going to want to quit 1,000 times. Guys, I set every record in World Ventures, and I can honestly tell you, I wanted to quit so many times, I can't tell you, because I didn't think it was going fast enough for me. And so I had doubts, I had fears, I had worries, but I just chose to overcome them. Anytime a problem arises in my life, I always just do this. I always just think, okay, am I bigger than that problem? Okay, is that problem too much for me to handle? And I always say, no. And I always say, if I start to think that it is, I always go, mini me, mini me, mini me. I learned that from T. Harv Eker, mini me. I can't handle that? Yeah, I can handle that. And I think of one of those, like, when they're putting the tar down on the streets and those big roller things that just like smash stuff down. I just see that problem. I just see it getting smashed. And I go, I'm big enough for the job. We have got to work on your philosophies, because your philosophy determines your attitude. Some of you walk into the room and you dim the room. Some of you think that you're positive people. You think that you're not a dimmer. You think that you're a light, but you don't know that you suck the life out of me. This is my favorite one. I hear this all the time from people, leaders on my team. I hope they'll ever listen to this recording, but it's true. Doc, I don't mean to complain, but whenever you say the word but, you just negated everything that you just said. Okay? And you don't realize that you are doing it. Guys, your language is everything. It's the words that come out of your mouth that are going to determine your income. When you get that figured out, your income is going to go up massively. You've got to choose wisely what you think. You've got to choose wisely what comes out of your mouth. Your philosophy will determine your attitude. Your attitude will determine your actions. We learn the information, we go apply it. We learn it, we apply it. We go into the field and we do it. And we start to climb the ladder. Benjamin Franklin was a philosopher. He's the one that coined the phrase, if I have 4 hours to chop down the tree, I'll spend 3 hours sharpening my axe, 1 hour cutting down the tree. That was a guy who knew that he needed to spend more time working on himself, more working on here than actually doing it. See, there's people all around me, a lot of my leaders, they think that I'm relatively lazy. Okay, they work so much harder, they drive through the night to do presentations, they do all these action steps, which I'm very glad that they do, but it really makes them quite mad that I make more money than them, and they think that I'm lazy. But I'm really not lazy. I just have a different philosophy, okay? I spend more time reading books, listening to audios, working on myself, so that when I am face-to-face with people, whatever comes out of their mouth, I can turn it back into a question, ask them enough questions till all their questions are satisfied, and they just seem to always get started with me. And I'll cover that this afternoon on how to handle quote-unquote objections. Your philosophy will determine your attitude, which will determine your actions, which determines results, which leads to your lifestyle, finances, health, business, personal development, relationship. Guys, the blame game. How many people play that? This is the number one book I recommend people read. It's called Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker. And again, I'm going to give you a whole list here in a little while. I'm going to read through 17 things that he teaches. And I think, for me, guys, when I read this book, I've been able to piece all this information together from different authors over different periods of time and different life experiences. But this is a very concise summary of what it is. Okay? Rich people believe I create my life. Poor people believe life happens to me. Victim clue number 1, blame. Victim clue number 2, justifying. Victim clue number 3, complaining. Wealth file number 2, rich people play the money game to win. Poor people play the money game not to lose. When I tore the walls down in my chiropractic office, was I playing to win? I'm just going to read this real quick because this is really what I've said about 10 times already. We talk about committing to getting to the end, about committing to getting this thing done. The word commit means to devote oneself unreservedly. This means holding absolutely nothing back, giving 100% of everything you've got to achieving wealth. It means being willing to do whatever it takes for as long as it takes. This is the warrior's way. No excuses, no ifs, no buts, no maybes, and failure is not an option. The warrior's way is simple. I will be rich or die trying. Guys, I think it's easier to be successful than it is to be unsuccessful. Real quick, at the age 65, 19 out of 20 people are dead or dead broke. 19 out of 20, 5 make the grade. Who wants to be a 5%er? Well, file number 4, rich people think big, poor people think small. Rich people focus on opportunities, poor people focus on obstacles. Where's Sandy? Oh, there you're on the front row. Hey. I did a 2-on-1 with Sandy yesterday. Okay, had a nice couple there. And at the end of the presentation, we had a very nice guy, seemed, relatively interested, probably not going to do it after his initial thing. Wife, Debbie, absolutely Debbie Downer. Just a very negative person. How many times do you think I said to her, all you can see is the obstacles, and all I can see is the opportunity? See, people argue for the limitations, and when you argue for your limitations, you get to keep them. If we continue on in this book, wealth file number 6, rich people admire other rich people and other rich and successful people. Poor people resent rich and successful people. You ever notice that? As if somehow life is not fair. Number 7, rich people associate with positive, successful people. Poor people associate with negative or unsuccessful people. You know this. You know that your income is within 20% of your 5 best friends. I made a choice at 25. I used to have my little guys I went to school with. I've been in school with these guys for 4 straight years in chiropractic school. I knew every one of them very, very, very well. When I got involved in network marketing, started to read these books, started to grow, started to hang around these guys who were multimillionaires, I would always invite these guys to come be part of the group. And very few of my real close friends did. And I realized that there was a difference right then and there between me and them. That these people were content. These people didn't want to go anywhere in their life. And I did. And so I made the choice to cut those people out of my life. See, there's people in your life that you spend 10 hours a week with that you need to spend 10 minutes with. And there's people that you spend, you know it's true. And there's people that you spend 10 minutes with that you need to spend 10 hours with. I promise you, if some guy has got something on me that he's better at something than me, I am all over that person to figure out what it is that makes that person go. Does that make sense? I want to surround myself with winners. I want to surround myself with people who get it done. I just love greatness. Whatever field the person is in, I love hanging around people who are great. And a lot of people, when you understand what I'm talking about that way, it's very hard to have real, true friends, because when your butt is always burning, when you're always moving, when you're always trying to be the best, there's so few people like that out there, that when you find people like that, it's just like a moth to the flame. You just can't get enough. Like, you're in love with these people. Anybody know what I'm talking about? Okay, continue on. Number 8, rich people are willing to promote themselves and their value. Poor people think negatively about selling and promotion. That guy said to me yesterday, I don't like to sell. You know what I said to him? And that's why you're poor. I said it, didn't I? You either sell something or you work for somebody who does. The great thing about our business is you don't have to be a great seller. Guys, this is the purest form of business that there is. I just love what we do, because you are not the message. You are the messenger. You are the promoter. You are the commercial. And you can take your network to people. You know what I said to that guy? I said, good news for you. I'm great at selling. I am. I'm good at doing it, and I'm going to go to work for you. All you got to do is put the butts in the seat, and I go to work for you for the rest of your life for $366. And if I can make a suggestion to you, you should take advantage of that, because you're not going to walk out the door and have anybody else offer that to you. I turned that guy around pretty good yesterday, did I not? Because he was kind of nasty to start off with. Number 9, rich people are bigger than their problems. Poor people are smaller than their problems. I mean, just think about it. What's going to get you down? I mean, the stuff that people, understand, I got 29,000 people in my group. I mean, guys, literally, my phone rings all the time. Either a text message, an email, a Facebook. I mean, it's redonkulous. And the stuff that people call me with, I just look and I go, that's what you're going to play your card with? I mean, if it was me and I'm calling one of the top guys in the company, I'd be talking about how to build my business. And you're worried about all these stupid little things that don't make a bit of difference. Look, when we started World Ventures, and I wasn't there in the beginning, but when I started, in September of 2007, things were not great. Okay, the product wasn't great. The back office certainly wasn't great. It just wasn't great. But I believed in the potential. Let me tell you something. We're farther down the road now than we were then, but we're not anywhere near where we're going to be a year from now, or 2 years from now, or 5 years from now. Avon is 125 years old. Give me a break. Give us some time. Look, I'd rather be in a company like ours, which we know is stable. We're 6 years old. We're going to be here forever. I'd rather be with us than with Mary Kay. 125 ladies a month sign up and get a Mary Kay. Did you know that? 125,000 a month. Okay, and we've all heard of it. I believe you can start walking the streets of America and still not find one man in a month who's heard of World Ventures. Guys, we've got all that going for us too. So you got to believe in where it's going to go. Stop looking at all the stuff that doesn't work, okay? Rich people are excellent receivers. Poor people are poor receivers. Rich people choose to get paid based on results. Poor people choose to get paid based on time. You ever notice that? If you have a job, you have no shot at getting rich. I don't care what your job is. There are people in this room, 50 years old, corporate executives make $250,000 a year. Big deal. You spend all your money because that's what you do. Instead of driving the Toyota, you drive the BMW. Instead of having a $250,000 house, you got $1 million house. Instead of taking 1 vacation a year, you take 4 vacations a year. You spend all the money. It doesn't matter. You've got to learn to live on the interest of your money. That is the ultimate goal, is it not? Because they can't take that away from you unless you do something really stupid with your money. If you're living on, guys, I can't tell you the day that I figured that thing out. Okay, I got this much money in the bank. Okay, I got this interest on it. It's going to keep kicking out this much money. Here's my expenses in my life. It doesn't go up very much. My money's way higher than every single month. The minute I knew that I was done, that is rock and roll. You got to get that feeling, okay? And that should be what you're striving to do, and it can be done very quickly, okay? Rich people choose to get paid based on results. Okay, how many people in their current situation feel like they're underpaid for what they actually do? I can't tell you. God dang it, in my chiropractic office, I work 6 days a week. I feel like I'm one of the best guys in the world at doing what I do, because in chiropractic, it really has very little, how many patients you see has really little to do with how good of an adjuster you are, or a chiropractor. It has really nothing to do with that. It's how good can you market your practice. That's really just the nature of our profession. I was very good at marketing my chiropractic. I would never say that I'm the best chiropractor, but I probably was the best at marketing my chiropractic office. That's why I had a big practice. Guys, if you don't want to get paid based off of your results, you will never be rich. Who wants to get paid based off of their results? Good answer. Number 12, rich people think both, poor people think either or. See, what poor people do is they go, well, I'm not rich, but I'm happy. Or they might go, I hear this one all the time when we do question and answers. We only have enough money to, go to either the View or a dream trip. What do you think I should do? See, I would always think both. Okay? But that's what happens. You're limited by income. It determines the quality of your life. Because you think lack, you get lack. If it was me, I would never ask that question. Never in a million years. I would find a way to make more money to do both. Does that make sense? Okay. Number 13, rich people focus on their net worth. Oh, I'm going to like this one. Rich people focus on their net worth. Poor people focus on their working income. Okay? Let's do some comparisons. Okay? I promise you, Jeff Blanzy belongs to some country club somewhere. Okay? And when he's hanging out there with all the rich people, they do not talk about, oh, Jeff just got a 4% raise. Raquel got a 4% raise. She just talked about that last night on stage, and she said the right answer. She goes, that sucks. Okay? We cannot live our life that way. Okay? The people with Blanzy at the country club are talking about how much they just sold their company for, $8 million. I just cashed in my stock options, just got $12 million. The poor people go, not that you're poor, Raquel. I'm not talking about you personally. I got a 4% raise. I got a 20-cent an hour raise. Guys, you have to focus on your net worth. That's the only number you should be concerned with. I asked the guy yesterday, I asked him, what's your net worth? And he looked at me like I was talking about quantum physics. He had no idea. If you don't know what your net worth is right now, you don't know anything about money and finance. You have no shot of getting to the end. You have to know what your number is every single day. That's the only number I care about. How much am I worth? What are my assets compared to my liabilities? That's everything. That should be the only predominant thought that you have in your mind. My net worth. I'm going to live on the interest of my money. I'm going to get out of debt so I don't pay $600,000 over my lifetime. I'm going to take that $600,000 and I'm going to live off of it. Rock and roll. Here we go. 14. Rich people manage their money well. Poor people mismanage their money well. If you don't understand and master money, even if you earn it, you're going to lose it. Do you understand that? See, you might become international marketing director in this deal somehow magically. You get some good people on the right and the left and whatever. But until you understand and master money, can you imagine how many people come to me with the idea of the day, what to do with my money? It is literally like vultures. I'm not kidding. Every week, 2 or 3 people contacting me with the latest, greatest company that's going to go public, or I can do this with my money. It is unbelievable. And luckily for me, I've grounded myself. I've aligned myself with some very sound, financial, conservative people. Because what does Warren Buffett say all the time? Don't lose money. How many people have lost money? I've lost money. Number 15, rich people have their money work hard for them. Poor people work hard for their money. How many people know that that's true? Guys, in my life, my house is Grand Central Station for World Ventures, but I have a lot of people that help me do things. I have 2 personal assistants. I have people that mow my lawn and take care of all the stuff around my house. And I look at these people, and I look at how hard they work every single day. And they eke out a living. And I look at myself, and I go, I really don't work that hard at all. All I do is open my mouth. I don't do landscaping. I don't have to work with my body. I don't have all this, like Wayne always says, I'm not a sheeple. I can't do it, The thought of me having to get into my car, get up, drive in rush hour traffic, get in there, make sure I'm there on time, and if I'm not, somebody's going to be all over my tip, and then you got to work till this time, and then I can go eat some lunch for this amount of time, then I got to come back, and then, oh, good grief, you can go home at this time, and you can have this many days off. I mean, when you've tasted freedom, that thought is not ever a possibility anymore. I mean, who's had enough of that scenario? Okay, so then quit doing it. Okay, number 16, only 2 left. Rich people act in spite of fear. Poor people let fear stop them. Do you think that I get scared? Yes. Yes, I do. Those thoughts come into my mind too. But like I always said, I just have to keep going anyway. I have to act in spite of my fear. I mean, were there times, many times in the beginning, where, I just chopped my legs off in my practice. I really severed my income, and I doubted whether I could make this thing work? A million times. But you know what I did? I just kept telling the story. I just kept doing it because I made a commitment that I was going to get the thing done. In fact, there was a day where I literally quit World Ventures. I mean, I was checked out and I was done and I was not coming back. And that was after, I had gone director in 4 weeks, marketing director very quickly, had a thriving, growing team. But I was looking at what I was making in World Ventures in my first 6 months compared to if I would have put that effort into my practice. And I think that's a mistake that a lot of people make, is they overestimate what they can do in a year. See, I believe this: if you're going to get this thing done, you have to go into it pretty much thinking you're not going to make a lot of profit the first year. Because by the time you go to our 4 national events, we're ask you to commit to doing, you come to these regionals, I mean, if you've ever seen my car, which is paid for by the company, by the way, it's pretty cool. If you've ever seen my car, I mean, I swear on my life, if you open up the back 2 doors, Success from Home magazines fall out all over the place. Paradise and Prosperity, DVDs and CDs, I mean, just come falling out because I'm just jammed full of stuff. Because I used to say this all the time: I'm willing to pay $1 million to get $1 million or even $500,000 a year residual income from this thing. I was willing to do whatever it takes. And so you have to go into this thing. You've already got a day job, right? You've already got something, that you're earning a living at. Remember, like Jim Rohn said, this is a part-time thing that you do at night. You're working on your fortune over the next 3.5 years. Now, can you do it faster? Of course you can do it faster. I would encourage you to do it faster. 1 more, we'll be done. Number 17, rich people constantly learn and grow. Poor people think they already know. That one cracks me up so much. When I start talking about, your net worth and all those type of things, and I always hear guys go, I already know all that stuff. So I go, what's your net worth then? I was talking to a high-speed doctor. As I always meet people at the gym. I built this whole thing out of the gym. I'll talk about this afternoon. I meet this super high-speed doctor in Minneapolis, and I just keep talking to him about, he always asks me what I do. I mean, the first time I met him, I told him I used to be a chiropractor, and he's like, well, what do you do now? And I go, whatever I want. And he's been just trying to figure out what I do for the longest time. And I never give up the goods. And, the guy's like 53. And I started just interviewing him one day, and I'm like, are you debt free yet? Have you paid off the student loans yet? No. I started talking to him about debt reduction and some of these type of things. He goes, I already know all that. And I go, no, you don't. Because if you did, you would already be debt free. See, you don't know what you don't know. You think you know. And for most people, their ego is bigger than their bank account. I promise you, when it comes to personal development and growth, I do all that I can do all the time to learn and grow. And in this market, I know a lot of you guys know Eric Grzybowski, okay? The first day I met Eric Grzybowski, his ego was bigger than his bank account. But the best decision, in my opinion, that Eric Grzybowski ever made is he made the choice to humble himself and be teachable and coachable, because that kid, pretty much moved into my house for the first month or so to learn everything that he could from me. Now the kid works harder. Eric Grzybowski actually cycles more than me every single week. Isn't that rock and roll? We're going to teach you the how-to. We're going to teach you the invite. We're going to teach you the close. We're going to get you all the stuff that you probably think that you need to know, but I need to beat into your head until you learn to read or listen. Some people don't like to read, and I get it. If you study Napoleon Hill, I will just tell you one more thing. Napoleon Hill says you need to read stuff late at night because it goes into your subconscious mind. And for me, that works. But also, I get up every single day of my life and I read for at least an hour before I start my day because I'm committed to my own personal growth. So, do we understand that we need to work on ourselves? Do we need to understand that we need to get more tools in our tool bag? We need to sharpen our axe. We need to stop blaming other people. We need to look ourselves in the mirror and go, I've got to increase my network. I've got to work on my language. I've got to work on my posture and my confidence. Because guys, when you make it personal, and when you remember that that person that you just showed it to would have signed up with Donald Trump, they would have signed up with Warren Buffett, they would have signed up with Blanzy. See, you've made it personal. So guys, I appreciate your time. I'm going to bring Jennifer back up here real quick. Doesn't she have a nice red dress on? Isn't that just unbelievable? Let me say something about her. But I'm going to tell you something. I have a lot of respect for her. She went to school for a very, 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 very long time. And that's very, very, very difficult study. And I know that when she signed up to do that she thought that was going to be what she really wanted to do. But look at a person, who's got at least 10 years of education, who's gone, and people like Troy Brown. I mean, these people are massively educated, but they're desperately trying to get out. And that should say something to you. Do we have the lifestyle or what?
Yes.
See, there's nothing like it. This industry of network marketing, I love it. I will do it for the rest of my life. I like the thrill of the hunt. I like the energy of it. I like seeing how good we can get ourselves. If Dan Stamen could put 660,000 customers into prepaid legal, boring. What can we do with